Hi guys and girls on YouTube and welcome to my channel. Well, it's coming towards the end of the day now. I can't do any more work so I need spare parts. I've got this deep fat fryer with an earth leak on the element. I've got this microwave needs the magnetron. So I thought I would take this opportunity to drop a quick video in. So what we're going to be looking at here is a Tatung TV. It's a 21-inch FST. Now, it's such a long time since I last seen one of these. I cannot remember what chassis it is. I've got a feeling it's a 170 chassis, but I might be wrong. I'm going to have to take the back off and have a look. But for anybody who's not heard of the brand Tatung, they were a Chinese company and they actually took over Decca. And when they first took over Decca, the sets were called Decca Tatung. But later they dropped the Decca bit and they just reverted to their own name, Tatung. But this is one of the earlier sets when the British still had a big influence in design. These were one of the best sets ever made, in my opinion. And in much later years, when the Chinese got involved in actually designing the sets, they were absolute rubbish. The worst one ever that springs to mind is the Tatung F series. Absolutely dreadful sets. And in some tellies, used to have a burn up on the scan connector. I've had to put a whole new board in, claim it back under warranty and put a new board in because there's so much damage. Now, I've actually sold sets like this brand new, so I'll give you a little insight into the history first. Back in the late 80s, there was a shop called David Robinson's, and he was a big Tatung dealer. And when they used to get a fault they couldn't find on, he got his own engineers, but they get a fault on the TV, they couldn't find it, they bring it up to me. So I actually got quite friendly with David. And in the early days, before I had any big accounts with anybody, he used to sell me Tatung TVs at trade price, so I could sell them on for a bit more money. So I'm quite familiar with these sets. Now, these were such good sets. They did come with a 4-year warranty, but they were so good. And the Toshiba black stripe tubes gave such a good picture that once you sold one of these, you never ever saw them again. In fact, the only two things I can remember about this set was the on and off switch going faulty and dry joints on the line scan socket that plugs into the main board. But these were so reliable. Now, I've actually found this advertising thing here. Now, the first thing to note is this isn't the exact set we're looking at, but and you can see there, 4-year guarantee. $319.99 would have been about the right price for this telly, even though it's not exactly the same model as in the advertisement there. But you know, $319, that's about right for this telly in its day. Now, when David Robinson decided to close down, I can't just remember when it was. It's probably it's more than 10 years and probably less than 15 since he closed down. He actually came to me and he said, would you be interested in taking over the Tatung under guarantee repairs? And I said yes. And what he did is he arranged it for me to have a direct account with Tatung, so I could order spare parts, I could order service manuals, and I could repair these sets that people were now bringing to me under guarantee. And for a while it actually worked very, very well. But then they owed me quite a bit of money, and guess what? They actually went bust. So I didn't get anything at all. But I've got quite a few Tatung parts, and I've got loads and loads of Tatung service manuals. So it was not a complete loss. Right, so enough of that. Let's turn this telly round and have a look at the back. In fact, let's have a look at the front first. The first thing you'll see is the faceplate is very, very dark compared to some TVs. Let's go down here. I don't have a remote control for it. On and off switch there. You've got a flapper comes down here. You've got volume, program, search and memory. That's all you've got in there. I don't have the remote, but it'll be all right without. We'll get this going without. So let's just turn round to the back now. Plastic back, 4 screws holding it on. There's a SCART socket down there next to the aerial socket. Now this set was actually, let's just have a look at the model number there. This set was actually supplied by another dealer I know, C Farmer in Matlock. I was also very friendly with them, and I know Rob will be watching my channel, so that's their sticker. But the important thing to note is this isn't one that I got from your museum, but I think you'll already know where I've got this from if you're watching, Rob. So let's get the back unscrewed and have a look inside it before we plug it in. I've no idea what's wrong with it. I've not tried it yet. I wouldn't even be surprised if it just works. They were so good, these. Right, so that's the telly with the back off. You can see by the collector load resistors on the tube base panel, by the darkening here, it has had quite a bit of use. It's a very narrow neck tube. Now, although it says Tatung on there, I'm pretty sure these were manufactured by Toshiba, but I might be wrong. But I think it's very, very dusty. I think what we're going to have to do is get the chassis out and hoover it out, so we can have a proper look at it before we plug it in. So I'm going to stop the camera and just give it a hoover, and then we'll come back, have a look at it when it's nice and clean. Right, so there we go. I've not over cleaned it, I've just made it clean enough to have a look round it. So that's the on and off switch that used to give a lot of trouble with the momentarily contacts on there. The chopper control IC is a TDA 4601D. Now I think that's a variant of the 9-pin SIL TDA 4600, and I'm pretty sure these 2 resistors here will be the collector current simulation. So we need to check them first, because if they go open circuit, the on time of the chopper transistor is too long. It'll be destroyed at switch on. So we definitely need to either check them, and I presume they're metal film ones as well. We need to check them or change them before we turn on. Now I've got this vague recollection in the back of my mind that them 2 resistors there, they used to go open circuit and you lose the 30 volt to the tuner. But that's only a vague recollection. I'm going to have to look out the service manual just to double check that. So what we've got there, TDA 3541, that's the IF strip. TDA 3562 colour decoder. That one is a PCD 8752. That's a little memory chip to store the tuning settings. That's the video switching there from the SCART socket at the back. You've got the plug-in teletext board, because obviously you can get these sets with or without teletext. I'm pretty sure you could buy just a standard one, and then you could add teletext later by adding this board. Well, that's what I think anyway. That will be the sound output IC. What's that there? SAB 3035, that will be tuning. TDA 2579 line oscillator. The frames on there, TDA 3653B frame output. So I think what we need to do is have a look underneath first. Now that is these N2, I think the red one's the live end of the line scan. We need to check that for a dry joint before we turn it on. But all in all, that's in really nice condition. Let's look here, there's a little crack there in the SCART socket, nothing to worry about. I still cannot remember what chassis it is though. I think it's a 170 or a 180, but I'm going to have to look out a service manual so I can determine that. But let's have a look underneath first. Right, so that's the underneath view. If we move over to the line output stage, you can see the slight darkening of the board here. So it's had quite a bit of use, but if you look at the soldering, this all looks original. I mean, it might have had some dry joints done at one time. These look like they might have been resoldered, and the chopper transformer, but I don't think this has had any new parts in whatsoever. There's a dry joint there in the middle of the degaussing persistor. That's another hot running area. But even the switch, I mean, there's no new soldering on here. I don't even think that switch has been out, and that was a common fault in these many years ago. But look at that, it's completely original. So there's every chance that this set will just switch on. Well, I think what I'm going to do now is go and have a look and see if I can pull out some service manuals. Oh, hang on. What did it say there? 170 series. That was handy. Yeah, you're looking at it upside down there. Right, so that's the one we want, the 170 series service manual. Right, so I've just managed to pull out a few manuals. I have got absolutely hundreds of these with my association with Tatung, but just for old time's sake, let's just have a look at some of these service manuals. Right, so let's just take a quick look. So you've got the Deca 100. That's another set I've never seen for donkey's years. Had a Mullard tube, a good set, but we're let down by the tube. What's that? Is it Deca Bradford? Doesn't actually say. No, it's not Deca Bradford, is it? Oh, it is Deca Bradford. Yeah, Deca Bradford. Deca 30, that's another Bradford. E series. Now they weren't good. You got lots and lots of dry joints on them, very unreliable. So look at they. Deca 70, Deca 90. Tatung 150. That is the one we want, Deca 170, 180 series. So I'll put that to one side because that's the one we're going to be using. Tatung Deca 120, one of the best sets ever made in my opinion. In fact, I do have a couple of these, so we'll feature them in another time. And then of course under here these boxes and boxes of them, but for the minute we're just going to leave them because we've got the manual we need now. Right, so apart from pages and pages of technical descriptions here and part numbers, the service manual in the back, there's actually two fold out sheets. This one covers the 180 and this one covers the 170 series. So the first thing we need to look at is collector current simulation on here, which is pin 4, and that goes to 813 120k and 814 120k. So the first thing we need to do is check or change them before we turn it on. Right, so initially I thought it was these two resistors here, that one and that one, but it's not. It's that one and this one here, and the values they actually differ to what it says in the service manual. Right, so in mine 813 is actually 100k and 814 is 240k, but in the manual we've got two 120s. And that one, been bigger than that one, makes you wonder if that's been changed at one time. But when you look underneath, it looks like that end might have been desoldered, but that end there looks original. So I don't know what to think, but anyway, I've measured the value. They're both okay. I think we'll just solder up that dry joint there and just turn it on hope for the best. See what happens. Actually, before we do that, I'll just take a quick look at them two resistors there, what I think for the tuning voltage. R00 something, 6.8k both of them anyway. Yeah, they are for the tuning, the 30 volt or 33 volt tuning rail. So if you look at that, you've got the HT rail, 115 volts, move up there. There we go, there's your two resistors, R005, R006, 6.8k, and they supply the 33 volt tuning regulator, and that goes into the synthesizer chip. So yeah, I've got this distant memory that they used to go open circuit and cause no tuning. I've lost them now, so I'm going to have to check them two for value next, and solder the dry joint on the persistor, and then we'll just switch it on. Yeah, this is a big fold out sheet, as you can see. And would you believe it, I've just checked them two resistors and one is actually open circuit. How about that for a memory? Right, so that's it, they're desoldered, we've just got to pull them out. So in view of the fact that one of these is open circuit, or gone high resistance, I'm not sure which because I measured it in circuit, I think this set's been in regular use. I think it's only been got rid of because the tuning's gone off, or because it's gone faulty. Let's get that out of there. And I'll stop the camera, try and hold the camera as well. Right, so that one's okay, it should be 6.8k, that's well within tolerance. And look at that one, completely open circuit. So I wouldn't be surprised if somebody was watching this TV last week. Let's get a couple of new ones. Right, that's what we want, a couple of nice resistors. There we go, that's your two resistors in, one there and one there. Right, let's put the chassis and turn this on now. Right, so before we turn it on, I've just found this little clip in the bottom of the cabinet, and the purpose of that is to stop the teletext board touching on that heatsink, and that clip goes in there somewhere. Yeah, that's it there, it just clips in there and it holds that board, stops it moving. Right, so it's plugged in. Let's just make sure it's off on the front. Yeah. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a quick switch on test first, and if it powers up, then we'll get a signal to it in a minute. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, I can hear EHT. Well, that didn't last long, did it? And also, we don't have a channel display lit. I wonder if it's on and off switch because it flashed then. Let's try again. Yeah, the switch is a bit dicky. Let's just try it again. Yeah, works every time now. But we do have a raster. Right, so let's get a skybox connected to it then. Right, so skybox is connected and it's on colour bars. I can't just remember how you tune these in, but with only 2 buttons it can't be that difficult. You either press that and let go, or you hold it down. Be one or the other. Let's have a look. So press. Oh, you just press search and it goes on its own. So I think the skybox is set to about 36. Channel 36, I think. Or somewhere around there. Obviously not. No, not found anything. So we still have a problem somewhere. I think I'm just going to check the 30 volt rail on them resistors. Make sure we've got 120 odd going in and 33 coming out. That was a disappointment, really. Yeah, right, I see the problem. It's not actually connected to the skybox at all. I'm connected to the wrong wire. There's just an aerial on the end of that. Yeah, that's the confusion when you got two black wires. This is the skybox, that's the outdoor aerial. Right, try again. Just press that. Oh, it's on already. Let's just have a, out of curiosity, let's see what the skybox is set to. Oh, it seems to be set to 21. That's the problem. Let's just see it searching again. Right, it's coming round now. There we go. So you just press the red button to memorise it, and that's it. Right, let's just switch the skybox off the colour bar setting. And there we go. Volume, a bit more volume.
Voted in favour of proposed legislation to legalise assisted dying.
Fancy a beer?
Yeah.
Now, of course, we can't alter the colour, contrast or brightness without the remote control because there's no buttons on the front. And for me, I prefer a lot more colour than that. But yeah, look at that. Absolutely nothing wrong with the quality of that picture. And we don't have a black band coming from the camera either.
This could be the delivery of the season. That's sure to lift the team's Christmas spirit.
Now, I have actually seen a remote control knocking about for one of these sets somewhere. I'm just going to have a quick look just to see if I can find it.
Million Gold, the new fragrance by Raban.
Right, so I've had a quick look round. I found the remote control I was thinking of. I think this is for a D series Tatung. Let's just turn it down a minute.
Matlock, a new episode every Tuesday.
I think this is for a D series. It might work, it might not work, but I'm not going to try it in this video because when I take the back off, you can see the batteries have been leaking, so it's going to require some attention that before I can try it. But there's a possibility it might work. But anyway, for now, that's probably good enough to make a video. So there we go, everybody. That is the Tatung 170 series TV. I can't remember what year from. It's such a long time ago, but I'm sure somebody will remember and leave it in the comments. Alright guys and girls, many thanks for watching my video. Let's get this flap up here. And I'll catch you in the next one then. Alright, goodbye.